India is a developing country. However, there are areas that remain untouched and are being exploited relentlessly. These issues haven't been given the right amount of attention. One among those are our marginalized laborers. We are a country of over 1.3 billion people, out of which approximately 500 million are laborers, which is an overwhelming number. Workers are our living pillars of the developing society. Dignity of labor is a widely known concept that brings to our knowledge occupations that involve physical or intellectual labor deserves to be treated fairly and with due respect. There are multiple angles to assess this concept. Let us take a look. Labor laws in India have made an attempt to recognize some major issues that our laborers face. The relevance of the dignity of human labor and the need for protecting and safeguarding the interest of labor as human beings have been enshrined as fundamental rights in Chapter 3, Articles 16, 19, 23, and 24. One of the principles that the state has secured is to ensure equal pay for equal work for both men and women. Paradoxically, gender plays a major role to seek respect. The female labor force participation rate in India declined from 34.8% to 27% in the 2 decades before 2030, according to a World Bank report. And it further declined by 10% for the period of May to August in 2018. And since then, no increment has been observed. Meanwhile, as per McKinsey report, men have been employed in 90% of the 36 million additional jobs created in India since 2015. This disparity between the two genders have been existing for the decades now, and the increasing differences are becoming persistent. The fact that Indian laborers seasonally migrate is no news to us. It is pervasive in rural India, as these individuals are incessantly stranded with no money or jobs, and so they are compelled to migrate. And with this pandemic in the place, the situation has gotten much worse than anticipated. Migrants from Lucknow are forced to walk and cycle hundreds of kilometers as they hope to reach cities for work. Such headlines are streamed by every other media house, and it has ultimately become the most viewed by the spectators. And the sole reason is the rapid increase in the number of migrants, which has been worsening with the since 2020 due to the pandemic. Some regions like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar have been known for rural migration for decades. However, newer corridors like Odisha, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, and recently even Northeast have become major sending regions of manual labor. The pace at which the states are adding to the count of migrating workers is an evidence of how the policies of the Indian state have largely failed in providing any form of legal or social protection to this vulnerable group. This vulnerable group also includes temporary or part-time workforce, which forms the gig economy. They do get certain benefits when compared to a marginalized worker, such as independence to choose their hours of work, location, work days, holidays, and preferred organizations. But here comes the harsh truth. All these benefits come at a cost of instability in a job, uncertain pay schedules, and lack of social benefits. India constitutes about 40% of the freelance jobs offered globally. Even after contributing by such a large proportion, it is hard to believe that there is no law in this space, as a result to which these workers are ineligible for various benefits such as healthcare, insurance, etc. A company should ideally be responsible for their workers, but because they employ on contractual basis, the company is not held accountable for any damage. Hence, it's the ardent need of the hour to provide protection to the gig workers. Our laborers have become a victim of social stratification, where individuals and groups are ranked according to some commonly accepted basis of valuation in a hierarchy of status levels based upon the inequality of social positions. A laborer is always visualized as an uneducated person with a lower class who works to satisfy their needs at meager wages, unlike the eminent and highly educated individuals, and so they are considered inferior. The rate of social mobility in our country is naturally low as compared to other countries in the world, as a result to which the laborers find it difficult to move from one position to another within the social structure. We have failed to acknowledge the amount of value they add to every product and every work they do. This oppression and negligence were brought to picture by Karl Marx and his ideologies. The question proposed is whether the commodity has value because the laborer produced it, or it is the commodity having intrinsic value. People in a capitalist society treat commodities as if the objects themselves contain intrinsic value, rather than regarding value as the amount of real labor expended to produce the object. This idea is called commodity fetishism. Instead of empowering our laborers with their rights, we silently taking over them. The Periodic Labor Workforce Survey 2018-19 data tell us that the majority of the workforce in India prior to the pandemic was precariously employed as unpaid family labor, as casual labor, with no stability of income, or as regular workers with limited social security. Well, imagining their condition now will shock the wits out of us. The above mentioned are proof enough to bring into the light the plight they have to endure. It is high time we realize that respect, fair treatment is not a favor. Instead, it is a right of every labor out there. Somebody rightly said, and I quote, "If we don't want to see a doomsday, we better start respecting them today." These are the sources from where we acquired the information. At last, I would like to thank all of my team members for their efforts, which helped us to complete this assignment successfully. Thank you.